As part of this topic, I will demonstrate how to use SQL Workbench to connect to the MySQL database. In my setup, I am using Docker container to run the MySQL database. You might have MySQL running directly on the Windows machine, or it might be on a remote host. You can follow similar instructions which I am demonstrating here to connect to the database, which is nothing but MySQL database, using SQL Workbench as tool. If you don't have SQL Workbench, you might have to use command line utility. There are few challenges with respect to that. First, I will demonstrate how to connect to the MySQL that is running as part of the Docker container using command line. I will reiterate some of the challenges which we face, and then I will actually use SQL Workbench to connect to the MySQL database. We might run into few challenges. We will see how to troubleshoot those issues and confirm that we can connect to the MySQL database using SQL Workbench. Going forward, we'll be using SQL Workbench to interact with the database that is running as part of the Docker container or wherever it is. That being said, let me launch PowerShell first, because there is a Docker desktop running on this Windows machine, and I should be able to review the containers that are running currently using this command called as docker ps. It will actually show the containers that are running currently. The container name is nothing but MySQL Retail. It is created using the image called as MySQL latest, and currently it is running on one of these ports, 3306 or 33060. I think the database is running on 3306 port in the container. However, the port is not bound to any port on the host, and hence will not be able to connect to the database using any external tools such as SQL Workbench. SQL Workbench need to have connector, and also it need to be able to talk to the database service that is running as part of the container using the port. As port binding is not taken care while creating this container, it will not work. You can validate by running telnet command here. You can say telnet localhost 3306. It will not work. It will just kick us out. We will see how to address this issue at a later point in time. First, let us review the command which is used to create this container. The container is created using command called as docker run. As part of the docker run command, we have passed the name by saying -- name. This is the name of the container, MySQL_retail. We have set an environment variable called as MySQL root password. It is set to ITversity so that we can actually connect to the database using root user with this password. We want to run this container in detached mode. That's why we have -d. Also, we want to mount this directory called as C users dgadiraju documents projects MySQL to Mongo MySQL_db retail db. This is actually cloned from GitHub repository. It have a script called as createdb.sql. I have used that to create the tables in the retail database that we have created as part of our MySQL running as part of the container. The folder is mounted to this mount point on the container, and we have used MySQL latest image to actually create the container. We have used this command to start the container. Once the container is started, once we have validated using docker ps like this, we even validated by running docker execc command like this. So by saying docker execc -it, I stands for interactive and T stands for TTY, we will be able to connect to the terminal on the container. The container name is MySQL_retail, and I have used the MySQL command -u retail_user -p. That is a valid Linux command to connect to MySQL database wherever MySQL is set up. Once I run this, it prompted for the password. Once I give the password for retail user, I'm able to get into the database. Or we can also say docker execc -it container name MySQL_retail bash, and we should be able to run this MySQL-u retail user command as part of the bash as well. Even though we can use command line to actually connect to the database, it is counterproductive and error prone. It is better to use IDEs such as SQL Workbench to connect to the database and perform the database operations. Let's go ahead and see how we can actually configure SQL Workbench to connect to this database that is running as part of the Docker container. We can follow similar steps to actually connect to databases that are running locally directly, as well as that are running on remote machines using appropriate IP address or DNS alias along with the port number on which database is supposed to run. That being said, you can actually go to the location where SQL Workbench is set up. In my case, it is under documents. You can see SQL Workbench folder here. We should be able to launch SQL Workbench by double clicking on this. If you want to use this quite often, you can actually pin into the taskbar by right clicking on this and then by saying pin to taskbar. Now, even when you close this, it will be available as part of the taskbar. You should be able to click on this and you should be able to launch the SQL Workbench whenever you want. I also want to pin PowerShell, and hence let me say pin to taskbar with respect to PowerShell. Now I want to connect to the retail DB that is running as part of the Docker container. It is nothing but a MySQL database, and hence I'm giving the profile name as MySQL underscore retail. Here I have to choose the appropriate driver. As we are trying to connect to MySQL database server, we have to use MySQL here. If the driver already available, it will start using that driver. However, it is not able to identify the driver, and hence it is saying the library for the driver is not accessible. Do you want to edit that driver definition now? You can say yes. This URL is updated by me earlier. Typically, it will be something like host name, port, and sample database. This is how the sample URL will be, and also even the library will be pointing to some standard location that is configured as part of the SQL Workbench by default. However, this location is not valid. We can delete this. As of now, there is no MySQL connector on this machine. We first have to download that MySQL connector and then we have to take it further. Before downloading the MySQL connector, we need to understand the version of MySQL that is being used as part of the Docker container, or if you have MySQL directly under your Windows machine, you should be able to run MySQL command and you should be able to understand the version. The version which is being used while setting up MySQL using Docker container is nothing but 8.0.20. This is the main information which we should use to download the connector. Now we can actually go to Google and search for MySQL connector Java. SQL Workbench uses Java connector, and we can say MySQL connector Java for MySQL 8. And then we can go to this link where it says downloads. Click on this. As our operating system is Windows, you can actually say platform independent. Also, you need to ensure that you are downloading connector for 8.20. You can see there is a zip file and also there is a tarball. As I'm using Windows, I want to use the zip file, not the tarball, because we'll not be able to untar and unzip the files directly on Windows if the zip is gzip. If it is regular zip, we should be able to unzip directly without having additional softwares. So I'm using the zip file for the download. Once I click on this, it will actually download the zip file. However, we have to say no thanks, just start my download, or you can also log in using the Oracle web account. In this case, I just said no thanks, just start my download. So you don't need to log in into the Oracle to actually download this connector. Now we can actually go to downloads. As part of the downloads, you can see the MySQL connector Java -8020. It is nothing but a zip file. You can double click on this and then you can get into this folder. We are interested only on this file. So we can actually say copy, and I want to copy under documents. I want to create a folder called as database connectors. I want to have all my database connectors in this folder. You can organize the way you want. In my case, I just want to have all the database connectors under documents so that I don't have to search. Now I can paste it. Now the jar file is copied to this location from the zip file. Now I can go here and then click on this and then go to the appropriate location, which is nothing but my home directory, documents, database connectors. I have tested this before, that's why it is showing up these things. Otherwise, it will not show up like this. You have to go to the appropriate directory by identifying the path, and then you should be able to select the jar file and then say OK. Then you will be redirected to this page, which we have seen earlier. In this case, the URL should have the IP address or DNS alias on which the database is running. Also, we need to pass the port number. Also, we need to specify the database name. Along with these details, we also need to provide username and password which have required permissions on this database. If you recollect, I have used this command to connect to the MySQL database that is running as part of the container. The username is retail underscore user. Password is ITversity. If I say show databases here, this user called as retail underscore user have permissions on retail DB. So to actually access the tables in this retail DB using SQL Workbench, I have to use the database name as retail, the username as retail user, password as ITversity. When it comes to host name, I have to use localhost because it is running as part of the Docker container within this machine. If the database is running remotely, you have to give the IP address or DNS alias of that remote machine. By default, the port number for MySQL is 3306. In this case, if the port number is bound to 3306 on the host, which is nothing but the Windows machine, it will work. Otherwise, it will throw error. Let's add all the required information. The database name is nothing but retail. The username is nothing but retail underscore user. Password is nothing but ITversity. Typically, MySQL runs on port number 3306. So let me update this to 3306. As MySQL is running as part of the Docker container on this Windows host, I should be able to use localhost like this. Now, if I click on test, if everything is fine, it should work. However, it is complaining saying that the last packet sent successfully to the server was 0 milliseconds ago. The driver has not received any packets from the server, which means the information which we have passed is not good enough to be authenticated from the server. There is nothing wrong with the information passed, especially if you are running into these kind of issues. First, you need to make sure that all the information is correct. Once you double confirm that all the information is correct, now you can actually validate by using telnet. You should be able to say telnet localhost 3306 because this is the information which we are trying to use. Something is blocking us, that's why we are not able to connect to the database that is running as part of the Docker container. The main reason is when I actually started the Docker container using the docker run command, which is nothing but this one, I haven't used control argument called as -p like this, and I haven't bind the port on which MySQL is running as part of the container to the port on the host. Because I haven't done this, the port is not exposed to the external world. I can only access the database through Docker, not through JDBC, where we can pass the IP address or DNS alias along with the port number. As port binding is missed here, we are not able to connect to the database that is running as part of the container, even though all the information passed is correct. So there are multiple ways to overcome this issue. One way is you can actually Google around and you should be able to get the response as part of the Stack Overflow. So in this case, we want to bind the port on the running container. So Docker start with port binding. So I want to start the Docker container once it is stopped with port binding. It is not very trivial. You can actually go to this link which says how do I assign a port mapping to an existing Docker container. In this case, as I haven't started the Docker container with port binding, I need to take these steps to actually bind the port to the container which is already created. Ideally, while creating the container itself, we should apply those bind rules. As we haven't done that, we have to bind while starting the container. For this, we have to stop the container, we have to stop Docker service, we have to update a configuration file, we have to restart the Docker engine and then start the container, which is a bit tedious. I don't want to get into those level of details at this time. I just want to delete this container which was started just a couple of days back, and I want to start with port binding. How to delete this container? I can say docker stop MySQL underscore retail, and then if I say docker rm MySQL underscore retail, it will be gone. However, all the tables which we have created are also gone. It's not just the database, everything is gone along with the container. Now we have to start the container. We have to recreate the database after starting the container with port binding. How to start the container with the port binding? We can use the same docker run command. However, before passing the image name as part of the docker run, we just have to say -p. Then we have to give the port number we want to use on the host. In this case, it is 3306. And then we have to give the port number using which the MySQL is running as part of the container. So this port number is for the host, which is nothing but our Windows 10. This port number is for the container on which MySQL is running. So I'm using the same port, and hence I should be able to use this port number going forward. Now I can run this. Even before creating the database and creating the tables, let me run telnet command now by saying telnet localhost 3306. It should work without any issue. Earlier we haven't seen this. We just got kicked out when we actually run the telnet command when port binding is not used to start the container. Now I can say control closing bracket, the square bracket. However, it kicked out after some time. However, we see a different experience compared to what we have seen earlier, and hence we should be able to use this to actually connect to the connect using the SQL Workbench. However, other details are not valid because the database is also gone along with the user. We have to recreate the user, we have to recreate the database, we have to run createdb.sql command or script once again to create the tables and load the data into those tables. So let's get into those steps, recreate the database along with the user, create the tables and load data into the tables. Then we will validate using SQL Workbench. So in this case, I can say docker exec-it. I'll be connecting using root user because at this time I don't have any other user than root. It will prompt for the password. Our password is nothing but itversity. I think it is still coming up. We can say docker logs MySQL_retail to confirm whether the database in this is up and running. Now it is up and running. Let me try once again. Let me enter the password. Now I am in the database. Now I can say create database retail. This is the database name. Create user retail_user identified by itversity. Grant all on retail dot star to retail_user. I also want to run this command called as flush privileges. Now the database and user are set up. We can actually come out of this. Then we can connect back to it using retail user as the username. For that I can say docker -it after exec. Then the container name is nothing but MySQL_retail. MySQL-u retail_user is the username. -p for password. It will prompt for the password, and I want to connect to the database directly by saying -d retail. Now I can hit enter. It will prompt for the password. Once I enter the password, I'll be inside the MySQL. However, it is attached to the user retail_user and database retail. I can validate by saying select database like this, and I should be able to see that I am attached to the retail database. Now using this information, which is already entered as part of the SQL Workbench, I should be able to say test. It will say test is successful. We can click on OK and save this profile by clicking on this. Now the profile is saved. We should be able to say OK. It will take us to the SQL Workbench. By default, you will be getting into something called as workspace. There can be multiple tabs here, and those tabs can be of different types. We'll actually get into those details as part of the subsequent topics. For now, if you want to understand what is there as part of the database to which we are connected to, in this case, the database name is nothing but retail. You can actually go to tools and click on show database explorer. If you have any tables created, you will be seeing those tables here. But as of now, we just created a database and granted permissions on the database to retail user. For that reason, we are not seeing anything yet. That being said, we have successfully demonstrated how to use SQL Workbench to connect to the MySQL database running on the Docker container. You should be able to follow these instructions for the databases that are running on the remote machines or that are running locally directly on the Windows 10 itself. When it comes to the main connector between the SQL Workbench and the database, it is nothing but the JDBC jar file. With respect to MySQL, it is called as MySQL connector Java. Depending upon the MySQL server that is running, we have to download the compatible MySQL connector Java, and we have to configure that in SQL Workbench so that SQL Workbench can talk to the databases that are running using that specific server version. It is very important to understand the dependency on the connector, especially the compatibility aspect as well. Sometimes some of the connectors might facilitate us to connect to the server even though they are not compatible, but when you try to run queries and all, you might see some inconsistent issues. If you run into those kind of issues, you have to troubleshoot from the compatibility perspective as well. As long as you troubleshoot in the right direction, you should be able to come up with the solution for your problem. That being said, as we have successfully connected our SQL Workbench to the database that is running as part of the container, now let's create the tables, load data into those tables, and see whether we will be able to access those details using SQL Workbench.